Hello everybody, I am back. Sorry I didn't do a video last week, but I decided I really didn't have too many interesting things to say or talk about, and I really didn't have much to say about Hardcore Justice, so I didn't really want to preview it. Not that the card was terrible, it just looked kind of pedestrian and not something that was really worth talking about one way or the other, which might be worse than it being terrible, but the card just didn't jump out to me at all, so I decided not to talk about it. And Summerslam didn't have many matches announced, so I decided not to do a preview of that. But as I'm doing this now, there still aren't a whole lot of matches announced for SummerSlam. Last time I counted, there were 4, I think. I don't know. Last I heard, there were 4. There might be more announced. I don't know. But, yeah, I'm filming this Friday night, so... yeah, kind of cutting it close there. I guess CeeLo Green's going to be on camera for about an hour and a half. Or maybe Punk and Cena will go an hour. I don't know, but they're probably just going to pad the holy hell out of it with something. And it's funny, too, because there were a lot of matches that happened on Raw this week. Miz and Kofi, Morrison and R-Truth. There was one other one that kind of jumped out at me. I don't remember. But there was a lot of matches this week that I thought, that probably should have been saved for the pay-per-view. Oh, Ziggler and Alex Riley for the U.S. title. That was the other one. Which I'll say this right now, I'm a really big fan of them doing that feud because I like both guys and it's a fresh match. I don't like what they've done in building the feud, and my fear is that they're going to do what they did with Ziggler and Kofi, and instead of having an actual storyline, they're just going to have them wrestle each other 900 times, and whoever wins the last match is the United States champion. And it'll just get boring and repetitive after a while. We'll see. I don't know. But, yeah, lots to talk about. I did want to talk about SummerSlam, obviously, particularly the main event. I'm not ordering SummerSlam mainly because I ordered 2 pay-per-views last month and I got to, save my funds. And this card... I don't really, as great as Punk and Cena has been, I don't feel like paying for the same match 2 months in a row, which is, I maintain that they should have kept Punk off TV for a while and let this thing grow and develop over the course of a few months rather than just rushing the rematch to the next pay-per-view, which Punk said in a recent interview that's what the original plan was, but I don't know, I guess they figured they just didn't have anything else going, which is kind of the way things are right now. The only angle in wrestling right now that's really got me hooked is whatever Punk's doing. I mean, look at the rest of the card. You got a Diva match. Don't care. Beth Phoenix should squash her. That's how I would book it. Just have her just break Kelly in half, and that'll make it passable. Sheamus and Mark Henry, don't give a shit. What was the other one? Orton and Christian. The wells run dry on that feud, but they're going to try and stretch it out as long as they can because, again, there's nothing else going on over there on SmackDown. When Mark Henry is the next step down, you in trouble. And, they also announced, so they have 5 matches. They announced Daniel Bryan and Wade Barrett, which I guess is okay as long as Bryan goes over. But, yeah, very weak card except for the main event. And the main event has me both intrigued, excited, and worried all at the same time. The ending's unpredictable. I don't know what's going to happen, that's exciting, but I'm considering the possibilities of what could happen inside my brain, and it's not, some of it's awesome and some of it's not awesome. There are 4 possibilities of how this match could turn out. 2 of them are great, 2 of them are terrible. The 2 great ones, number 1, Punk wins outright. Show your faith in CM Punk, have him win, beat Cena, no shenanigans, no monkey business or anything. He wins and he gets to take over as the champion, the top guy of the brand, and just keep the ball rolling with him as long as you can. So you can do that. Or you could have Cena turn heel, have Triple H help him win the title, and have him be presented as the corporate champion, which is how a lot of us see him anyway. That's what Punk's basically been calling him that throughout the course of the last few weeks, and have Punk step in as the top babyface and have him have to conquer the Cena and Triple H partnership over the fall and the winter. And again, I think if that happens, it'll make Punk even bigger because he gets to take over and be the one with the obstacles to overcome in the future. And the 2 possibilities that frighten me, and you can probably guess what they are, is they're kind of the opposite of the first 2. First one, Cena wins outright. just wins clean, and if that happens, we're right back to where we were before. Same old shit, seen it a million times. Burn, burn, burn. And whatever, I get bored and apathetic, and yeah, and Punk probably gets pushed to the background somewhere, which would be terrible. And the other one, which is even more frightening to me, would be if Punk turned heel, joined up with Triple H, and Cena became the rebel who was going against management. That's not going to work. If WWE is honest to God considering that, and I could see them doing that because I could see them thinking, hey, Punk got over by doing this, so we'll just switch them and have Cena do it so Cena will get over again. Look, it's not going to work. Cena as a management rebel is not going to work because nobody buys it. Nobody buys that he's like this underprivileged guy that's been shunned by management and he has to rebel against the system. I think it's just going to... It's forcing a square peg into a round hole type of situation. And they've done it. They've tried to do it with Cena a couple of times, and it just never worked because it just made me laugh. It's like, you're going to take that cartoony-looking SOB and try to tell me that he's the guy that fights for the underdogs and the little guy and wants to buck the establishment? No, not at all. And to me, it would kind of like derail Punk a lot because it just completely goes against the grain of what his character is all about right now. And plus, it would make no sense because Triple H basically gift-wrapped and handed the WWE title to John Cena on a silver platter when he had him face Ray on that episode of Raw. And to me, it's just like, well, gee, who's being favored here? So if they want to have like any kind of payoff to that, having Cena turn heel would be the way to go. But yeah, those four possibilities are the four possible outcomes, and I'll say that I think all four of them are extremely likely. I could see any one of those four things happening. I'm going to make a prediction and say that Punk is going to win outright. I think they want to keep the ball rolling with Punk. I would like to believe that they think they have a good thing going here, or they wouldn't have had him win at Money in the Bank the way they did. So I think they're going to keep the belt on Punk or make him the undisputed champion and just keep the ball rolling with him, and then Cena goes off and keeps doing his thing with Rock and whatever, and Punk basically make Punk the man and see what happens from there. So I think that's what they're going to do. Hopefully I'm right, and hopefully I got a 50-50 chance here. Hopefully the bad stuff that I'm visioning in my head right now doesn't actually happen. Seriously, WWE, I'm seriously begging you, do not ruin the only angle in wrestling that's really got me hooked right now. So please, do not ruin that. But speaking of ruined, I have to talk about TNA. I have to bring this up. So Kurt Angle has turned heel, basically joined Immortal. Yeah, you know how in my cliche video I talked about swerves that don't make any sense? This is a swerve that makes absolutely no sense. I mean, TNA is basically asking us to ignore the last 10 months of television, where Immortal began. Jeff Jarrett joined up with Immortal because he wanted to get rid of Kurt Angle. That was one of the main reasons that Immortal was formed. And then Angle feuded with Jarrett from that point all the way until Slammiversary of this year. So less than 2 months ago, Angle was feuding with Immortal, and now all of a sudden he's their heel World Heavyweight Champion. And better yet, I believe that they set up their Bound for Glory main event on this episode of Impact. It's going to be Kurt Angle versus Crimson. Crimson is going to win the Bound for Glory series. I think Rob Van Dam has taken a huge hit in the series with Lynn costing him matches via DQ and causing him to lose a lot of points. So I think, Rob Van Dam was my prediction. I was like, well, I guess he's out of it now after suffering those losses. So it really does look like it's going to be Crimson now. And I just can't help but think, it's like, for all you people that wanted TNA Originals to hold the world title, careful what you wish for. I'm all for making new stars. I think making new stars is the way to go. I think it's the way to keep the business alive and fresh. And, you always got to be mindful of the future. But you don't push a guy just because he's young. It's the same thing I said about Wade Barrett. Look, all you can tell me is that he's young, and that's why he's getting a push. There's nothing else about him that stands out. I mean, and that's kind of what Crimson is. It's like, the only thing anybody can tell me is like, oh, well, he's young, and he's new. It's like, yeah, but he sucks. He's shitty Goldberg. He's shitty Weasley kid looking Goldberg. Like, he looks like Ron Weasley on steroids. That's Crimson. I mean, he's better than Gunner. I'll give him that. And it's not that, when I watch him wrestle, it's not that he's terrible. It's just that he's nothing special. He's not Goldberg. Goldberg, for all his limitations in the ring, was presented in a way that was amazing and made for awesome television every week whenever he was on. So, I mean, Goldberg's rise was amazing. Absolutely. Put the world title on that guy in 1998. But Crimson just doesn't have that. And the fact that they're actually considering putting the world title on him, giving him a Bound for Glory main event, and that, again, based on what I'm seeing on television, that looks like where it's going to go. That's just awful. I mean, that is really, really fucking bad. And the Philly crowd, I mean, if they did that for the Impact Zone's, they're just going to react to it the same way they react to everything else. Kind of like, half-hearted cheers and such. But that Philly crowd, man, they're going to rip it to shreds. They, I think they're going to boo Crimson out of the building, at least. They know shit when they see it. They know, at the very least, they're going to spot, like, okay, this is just a new guy that they're ramming down our throats, and he's not ready for this spot. So they're going to shit on him because he's new, at the very least. So there's that. And now, they're honest to God going to do Sting and Hogan. They are honest to God actually going to do this match. And I'm telling you right now, look, they fucked up that match in 1997. It sucked then. Why would I want to see it now when Hogan is practically a cripple? And if you have to have, for whatever reason, if you have to have Hogan and Sting wrestle, can't they, use them in different ways? Because we've seen Hogan and Sting a million times. Any of us who watched WCW saw them wrestle each other a million times. Like, if you want to have Hogan wrestle, can't he wrestle AJ or something? At least put AJ over and, give AJ, a win over a legend or something. And Ric Flair's coming back. He came back at the taping, so it's like, I think that, combined age of all three men is over 150 years old. And they're all, Sting is the best one of the three, and he's not what he used to be, and Hogan's a cripple, and Flair looks like he's perpetually in the state of a heart attack. I don't want to see it. I really don't. And they're actually going to do it. And those are their two main events for Bound for Glory. And I'm telling you right now, the Philly crowd, they're going to shit on Hogan and Sting. If they as harsh as they're going to be towards Crimson and Angle, I think they're going to be even harsher towards Sting and Hogan, because I don't think Sting and Hogan have the following in Philly that they would, in, say, maybe New York or down south or something like that. I'm just predicting a disaster here for the two top matches that are going to be featured at Bound for Glory. It's not very good. And going back to Kurt Angle, the reason that happened with him turning heel, and I know exactly why this happened, and this is not in defense of TNA, this is more pointing out their own stupidity. If I can borrow a line from Megatron from the original Transformers cartoon series, I can see incompetence breeds even more incompetence. And they made a stupid decision almost a year ago, and it's coming back to bite them in the ass now. At the end of Bound for Glory last year, they said, okay, Jeff Hardy's going to be our top heel. We're going to make him our top heel champion for a year. We're going to run with Jeff Hardy. That's the guy we're going to go with. What they didn't realize is that Jeff Hardy is Jeff Hardy, and it was only a matter of time before he fucked up. They didn't have a backup plan, and Victory Road, we all know what happened there. And it basically left TNA without a top heel. I mean, there was no, secondary top heel that could be believably put into that spot. Fortune turned face. Jeff Jarrett, we've seen that a million times. And out of Immortal, he's probably the best option. Bully Ray, great on the mic. I don't think anybody would buy him as a world title guy, so he's out. Abyss, no. Fucking Gunner. Yeah, right. There just wasn't anybody left to build around the company as a top heel, and you saw that in their pay-per-view title matches. At Lockdown, it was Sting, a babyface, Rob Van Dam, babyface, and Mr. Anderson, tweener, in a three-way cage match. At Sacrifice, it was Rob Van Dam and Sting, both of them were babyfaces. At Slammiversary, it was Anderson and Sting. Anderson's a tweener, Sting's a babyface, and they did that. They haven't had a top heel since Hardy left, and that's been a major problem, and that's why they're scrambling to, let's try turning Anderson heel, even though it makes no sense, because, Immortal gave him a near career-ending concussion and tried to screw him out of the world title multiple times. Let's let's make him the top guy in Immortal. Okay, that didn't work, so they've already dropped that. So he's gone face and heel in less than a month. Let's do it with Kurt Angle, even though that probably makes even less sense because now he's aligned with the guy that took his wife. I don't know how they're going to explain that, and quite honestly, I don't care. It's just a mess, and the reason this is happening is because Jeff Hardy fucked up, and they put their faith in somebody like Jeff Hardy without a contingency plan, and that's just an exercise in stupidity. And you depend on Hardy, you get what you get. So yeah, that's Bound for Glory. It ain't looking good, and I still praise the Bound for Glory series as a great idea. I think that's a fantastic idea, and I hope TNA sticks with it and makes it an annual thing. But I had been really positive towards TNA lately, just like I'd been positive towards WWE as of late, and now TNA, they've kind of like already pissed away some of that goodwill, and now they're kind of right back to the mess they were at before, and that's kind of a shame because I was actually kind of digging what they were doing at first, but that's how the cookie crumbles, I guess. But yeah, that's all I got for this week. Next week I'm probably going to do a reaction to SummerSlam depending on how everything turns out, and I wanted to get into a couple other interesting topics that have been on my mind lately, so I'll probably work those into a few future videos. But I've got another announcement. Some people asked me about the question and answer videos, and I was still getting questions for question and answers videos back in like February and March, and I said I was going to do those again after WrestleMania. Well, one thing led to another, with personal problems and other ideas for videos coming out, like my cliche videos, and the recent, me being positive towards Destination X and Money in the Bank and everything. I kind of like got sidetracked and didn't do any question and answer videos, but I'm going to do another one in 2 weeks. So 2 weeks from now, that'll be my next question and answer video. If you have any questions you want to send to me, just private message me here on YouTube. Label it Q&A so I know what your what it pertains to. If you know me through weforums.com, where I also post my videos, you can private message me on that forum. My username is Triple G. Or if you want to email me, which I believe you can email me through the WrestlingEpicenter.com website, and find a way to contact me through there if you want to do that. That's WrestlingEpicenter.com, where my videos are also posted. And yeah, if you have any questions you want to send me, just go ahead. It's going to pertain mostly to wrestling-related questions. But if you want to work in a few non-wrestling questions, and if I have time, I'll get to those and I'll answer those as well. But it's going to be mostly wrestling-oriented, but if I have time, I'll get to a few non-wrestling ones as well. So if you want to try your luck, go ahead. And yeah, that's all I have for this week. So stay tuned, everybody. Hope everybody has a good weekend, and I'll see you all next week.